Good afternoon. This is Jack Long, the Mad Scientist, and on today's Technician's Tool Tip, we're going to be talking about the squaring of the fence on a horizontal panel saw. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Alright, so we've set the fence up, square that fence there. And on this table here, you see I got my two tick marks here. This edge has already been cut once, so I got a fresh edge. I'm going to take this, I'm going to rotate the board to put that fresh edge up against the fence. I'm going to reach over past my cut line down in there just a little bit. I'm going to shave it off there, and I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to process it again. I'm going to process it again. And then this last cut that it comes across here, I'm going to come in and I want to cut off about half an inch or so. And then snap the piece in the middle and compare end to end, and that will tell us how square this fence is in relationship to the cut line. Okay, so the cutoff from that piece that comes across here, you'll see that I've got my two tick marks here, which represents that. That tells me that this was my initial corner. This is the face up, so that as I'm going through and I'm diagnosing my part, that in a week, 2 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it is, that I know exactly how this piece came off of this saw. Then what you do is you're going to take this, you're going to snap this. You're going to snap that in the middle. You're going to compare that end to this end. See if we can actually see this. There. And you can see that error. So you measure that error right there. That error that's between these two should be for panel saws, excuse me, not panel saws, but for CNCs, 1/1000th of an inch for point-to-points and CNCs, or 2/1000ths of an inch per foot for edge banders. If you don't, whatever you process on down the line, the tighter it is, the more square the machine is going to be. So the question is where do we get that number at? And on here you'll notice I got about a 5-foot panel, so there's 5 foot plus 4 foot's 9 plus 5, 14 plus 4 is 18. So we've cut 18 lineal feet. So at 1/1000th of an inch per foot, I would allow up to a maximum of 18 thousandths difference between this part and this part. From there, it's just a matter of seeing which direction this has got to be adjusted based on your fence to bring it into square. Alright, so from there, once you determine that it's out of square, you measure the error in this part. And measure this error here and divide it by your lineal feet, and this one's 18. So I had a 66 thousandths error here, and I know I'm going to do this in inches, which I almost always do everything in metric, so bear with me. I had to do the calculations back and forth. So this one, I'm at 66 thousandths on here, and I'm going to divide that by the 18, and I've already done the math. That winds up being 0.36 thousandths, or what is it, 36/10,000ths per foot. Then I go up here and I measure off of, from my cut line out to my adjustment point, and I'm at 6 foot here. So if I take 3.5 thousandths, or 3.36 thousandths per foot times 6, I need to adjust this fence towards me, back to me, 23 thousandths. And then that way, what that does is it gives me a scale, so I know exactly how far I need to go. Now, in my experience, but not always, these fences always are out of square that way. And that's because you've got the mass of your board, and every time the operator does as the operator does and pushes the board up there, eventually it takes that fence and just pushes it back. Okay, so when you adjust it, try to have the error in your adjustment to this side of square. so that as they continue to beat that forward, it comes back around and goes more and more and more square, and then starts to go out of square the other way. And as long as nobody hits the fence, then you should be able to get a longer squareness out of that adjustment as you actually proceed into square and then beyond it. Okay? Well, that's it, guys. Like everything else, is not terribly difficult. The only thing that I would want to emphasize with you is to use bigger sheets of material for this, because the larger the sheet, the more accurate it's going to be. All right, so that's it. As always, be safe out there, and let's go make a million.